All right, pop, 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 another server drop. Ready to go ahead with another one in our series on web hacking. Today we're going to do a little bit more SQL injection. We're going to do it by hand instead of by using automated tools and such like SQL map, things like that. So we got a site here. It says vulnerability SQL injection. User ID, what do I do every time I come to a page? Well, I try it. I see what they want. So I go ahead and let's see. I'm assuming user ID, I'm assuming that's an integer. So we'll just do a number. We'll say 1, and let's see what happens. All right, looks like ID equals 1, first name admin, surname admin. Okay, looks like it takes the number 1, finds where it's at in the database, and then it does a select, and it retrieves information back from the database and displays it here on the screen. Let's try 2, see if that does anything different. All right, looks like it's now iterating through the database, as we can see a different name this time for a different ID. Let's try number 3. Okay, very cool. All right, so we're seeing that it is iterating through the database, so that's good. So what we're going to do here is we're going to try to do a little bit of enumeration of this guy's web page from his own server. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to use a couple different techniques. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and do a 3 single quote, okay, to start the party. And then we're going to say, and 1 equals 0. Now, you're probably thinking, well, wait a minute, Ray, what's going on here? I thought last time we were trying to get true statements. Well, we were, but that's because we were trying to log into the web server. Now here, we're not trying to log into the web server. We're here to try to display information. So we're actually giving it a false statement on this case here, 1 equals 0. Now there's a couple different ways we can do this, and the first thing we're going to do is find out how many columns the guy actually has in his database. Now I don't know anything about this guy's database. I don't know what it's called. I don't know what they're using for a version, nothing. So the first thing we do is find out how many columns. Now we can do a command called order by 1, 2, and then we'll do a space hashtag at the end. That's just a format that some of these SQL commands will take. So we're going to say 1, 2, and the reason I'm doing the 1, 2 is I want to find out, does it have at least 2 columns? So I'm going to hit submit, okay, and nothing happens there. So we're going to come back and do another 3 single quote and 1 equals 0. And let's see, let's take away the 2 and we'll put it in there by itself. So I'm going to say order by 2 and submit. Okay, so nothing's happening there. Let's try again. We're going to try 3 this time. Okay, order by 3. Aha. So you can see here when I did order by 3, it pops up and says unknown column 3 in order clause. So that tells me they got 2 columns, 1 and 2. Now another way you can do it as well is where I can join a bunch of them together, like 1, 2, 3, and I can use a SQL command called union all select, like that. And I could say 1, 2, space, and then a hashtag. And I can verify the same thing because there it actually displays something. And then when I run it again, and I add a 3 to it, like that, and submit it, then it should give me an error saying that the select statements have a different number of columns. Okay, so we now know, yep, that's true. So there is no 3, so let's get rid of that 3. Now what we're going to do is we're going to replace this 2 with actual SQL database commands. So for instance, if I wanted to find out, I don't know, let's say what version of database they're using. I type in version, parenthesis, like that, in the second position. I submit it, and look at that. So right there, I know it's Ubuntu, which tells me it's Linux, and I can see it's 5 dot something. Now that doesn't mean Ubuntu 5, but that means the version of database they're running, I believe, is going to be this one here. Okay, so they're giving me some information, which is kind of cool. I like that. So then the next thing we want to find out is, well, we're going to try 2 different things. One, we're going to try to find out what the user is, or who the user is, and then possibly even find out what type of database they're using. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and get rid of the version dot whatever you call it there that was on there. And we're going to go with user underscore name space hashtag and hit submit. Okay, so I did a 1 comma user underscore name. And it says unknown column username in the field list. Okay, so obviously it doesn't understand this username deal. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is let's bring up our editor. Let's see, we're going to go to a site that I like. It's got a bunch of good cheat sheets on it, which is the Pentest Monkey site. So we'll come to Pentest Monkey. And there's a variety of different cheat sheets. They got some for SQL injection. So user underscore name, that's the one we're looking for, right? So let's go to SQL injection cheat sheet on the left, right over here. And there's a ton of them that are listed. Informex, MS SQL, which is the Microsoft version, Oracle, MySQL, Postgre. Now, usually one of the more popular is either MS SQL or MySQL. Let's check out MS SQL real quick. So looking at the cheat sheet, let's see what user underscore name, if that's in here. Let's see. Okay, so user underscore name is indeed in there. So what does that tell me? Well, it tells me that the database being used by this guy is not MS SQL because it doesn't recognize it. So let's go to the next most popular one, which is usually MySQL. And let's see what they use. Let's see here. Okay, so right here, user parenthesis is what they're using. All right, so let's go back over here then, and let's try that. So I'm going to take out the name, where it says user underscore name, and I'm just going to go with parenthesis, and we'll submit that, see what happens. Boom! Look at that. Root localhost. So that tells you one thing, the guy's not very wise, because whenever you run a web server, if you turn on and log into the computer that the web server's on, and you run the web server with your current credentials, and they are admin or root, then that actually is what the web server is running under, which is a big no-no. Here we can see the guy that's running it is root. Also, we found out that they're running MySQL, right? And because we found out through that little pen test cheat sheet. So we know they're running MySQL, and from the last thing we did, they're running 5.5, and we know they're on Ubuntu, and we know that they are root as well. Very good. So now let's go ahead and find out what the name of their database is. How about that? So we're going to run the last command again. Let's find where we're at here. Let's see. Scroll down. There we go. So what we're going to do is get rid of this one here. And we're going to say database instead. Parenthesis. Okay, so 1 comma database. Click on submit. And we can see they're running the DVWA database. Pretty awesome. DVWA. Awesome. So we found out pretty good amount of information so far about this entire website. Now we haven't got fully into it, but we're going to do that in the next video. And what we're going to try to do in the next video is we're going to try to go ahead and go down through the different columns and different rows that a person has, or this guy has, in his database. And eventually what we'd like to see, hopefully he has like some sort of username and password part of the database, and then maybe some hashes of some of the passwords. And we'll see if we can compromise those hashes as well and break into this guy's machine and get the username and password of maybe the admin or something like that. So that's going to be our next video, so make sure you guys check that out. For this video, though, that's all we're going to do for today for the time's sake, and hopefully you guys tune in for the next one. Have a good one.